Hello, this is Patrick at OneCNC West, and what we're going to do in this training video is take a look at creating this part. You can see that we have a circle here. This is going to be a boss. We have some other interesting shapes too. We have a line that's tangent to this arc here through an angle of 35 degrees. We also have another arc right here that has a radius of 1 inch, but you can see there's no XY location for that, so we can think of this arc as a fillet. Now we have another arc down here. We can figure out the X location of that just by using this radius value. A couple lines, and then we have a line up here that starts at the datum and then terminates tangent to this outside arc. Alright, so let's build this shape. I'm going to turn the print layer off. Let's head down here to our arc command, and we're going to create an arc that has a diameter of 4 inches. The X value is going to be -1, and the Y value is going to be -4 inches. Once I have that in, I'm going to click OK. And when I'm done, I can right-hand mouse click. Let's turn our print layer box back on just to verify that everything lines up okay. That looks good. Now let's create the arc that's inside here. Now this is going to have a diameter of 3.5. So let's create that. I'm going to come back over here and let's make our diameter 3.5. That looks good. And this time we don't have to use coordinates. We can just snap the very center of that arc. And that looks good there. Now let's work on these lines up here. We turn our print layer back on. We can see this line starts at x0, y0 and then terminates at x6.5, and then we come down 3.5 inches. So let's build that. Let's turn this off. Head back over to our line tool. I'm just going to snap the datum as my start point. Now for my end point of this line, I'm going to use coordinates for that. So I'll type in 6.5. I'm going to click OK, and then now I want to come down to y minus 3.5, and we'll click OK to that. And when we're done, we can right-hand mouse click. Let's turn our print layer back on just to make sure that we're good here. Everything's lining up very nicely. Alright, why don't we create this line now that starts here and then terminates tangent. So we'll go into our line tool. I'm simply going to come over and left click here for the very beginning. And then we're going to come over and just hover over this arc until we see our tangent symbol, which is shown by that little orange tangency symbol, and also that dashed line you can see there. So I'll left-hand mouse click and then right to finish. That looks good. Alright, now we have another situation down here where we need to create a line that's tangent to this arc and terminates at 30, doesn't terminate, but goes through 35 degrees. So how can a person do that? Now you'll notice if I just use the line command, I have to digitize where I want to start. And if I grab here on the circumference, it's definitely going to start at that location. And I don't want to do that because I really can't guess exactly where that tangency symbol is. I certainly could type in a line angle and I could type in a line length, but this particular line starts exactly right where I snapped. And again, there's no way I can exactly guess where that tangency is going to be with a line that passes through 35 degrees. So I want to show you a tool that will do that. We have a tool here called line tangent. Now you would think that this is primarily designed for connecting two arcs. Let me demonstrate this real quick for you. I'm just simply going to sketch an arc over here. And sure, you can use this command to easily come up and grab a couple of arcs, and OneCNC will create lines that are tangent between those two arcs. But you can also use this command to create a single line that starts tangent from an arc at any given angle. So that's what I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to undo this just by hitting Control Z, Control Zebra on the keyboard. That's just like hitting undo up here. That looks good. So we're going to use this command, and again, I'm going to grab this arc. I'm going to left-hand mouse click. It doesn't matter where I grab it. I'm going to left click here. And as soon as I do that, you can see the line's kind of sliding around the arc. I'm going to come over here now, and for the angle, I'm going to type in 35 degrees. As soon as I do that, that line now is tied in at 35 degrees. If I'd like, I could type in a length over here. I'm just going to take my cursor and come up here somewhere and just left-hand mouse click, and I'm done, so I'm going to right-hand mouse click. So there you go. It's real easy to create a line that starts tangent to an arc and through an angle using this command here, the line tangent tool. It's very versatile. Alright, so let's take a look now what we should continue on with. Let's turn our print layer box back on. Why don't we build this circle right here? This has a radius of 1 inch, and it looks like it's perfectly tangent here to this line, so we can use this radius value as an X value. So if we look at this value here of x 6.5, if we were to minus 1 inch, we would get x 5.5 for the x value. All right, so let's build that. We're going to turn our print layer off. We'll head back over here to circle. I do need to remind myself though what diameter we're going to use. We're going to use 2 inches on that. Let's turn this off. So we'll go back over here. We're going to grab our circle command, a diameter of 2 inches, and we could come over here and we could type in coordinates, but remember OneCNC has the ability to grid snap, and because we're set to inches and this is an inches print, it's easy for me to snap that location just by left-hand mouse clicking. And when I'm done, I can right-hand mouse click. And all we need to do now is build this arc in here, and we can do that just by knowing what that radius is, and the radius happens to be 1 inch. So what we'll do is we'll head over here and we're going to use our fillet command. That looks good. We have our fillet radius set at 1 inch. Now when you're using the fillet command on shapes that include an arc, it's always best to digitize your shapes in a counterclockwise direction. In other words, for this arc here, for this fillet, I'd want to select this circle first and then that line. All right, and then when we're done with that, we can right-hand mouse click, and there we go. Let's bring our print box back on. So that's looking pretty good. Now what we want to do now is do some trimming. I want to get rid of this portion of this arc right in here, and the easiest way to do that is to use the trim scissors tool. So let's head back over to our trim tools. We're going to use trim scissors, and don't forget when we left-hand mouse click using the scissors command, it's going to remove what you digitize. Also, don't forget that when you create circles, you have that 0 gap at 3 o'clock, and that's because arcs are created at 3 o'clock. They go all the way around counterclockwise and they terminate at 3. So that's what you're seeing there. So simply just left-hand click on that guy to get rid of him, and there's our completed shape. I'm going to hit the home button, zoom in on that, and let's turn our print layer back on, and that looks like a great shape. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.